Hi everyone, welcome. My name's Katie. I'm the program manager for MakerCore here at MakerEd, and I want to apologize for everyone who tried to tune in yesterday to watch our session. We didn't get any sort of notification that the audio wasn't working with YouTube Live. So for anyone who tried, it was a fault on our end or on YouTube's end. You did everything right we had lots of people switching computers and just one of the glitches of technology, but we're here now. We're ready to answer all of your questions about MakerCore and MakerCore 2017, what this year looks like and what the application process is like. And I'll say this again at the end of the broadcast, but I really want to say that I am here and really happy to talk with anyone one-on-one who's considering MakerCore and really wanting to see if it would be a good fit for their organization or not. I'm always available for a phone call or a video chat. Or emailing back and forth. I really like to work with partner sites so that they have a really great understanding of what the program is, what it might mean for them, and how we can best partner. So without further ado, I have a little presentation. I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll get going. All right, so I think the easiest way to do this is to keep it with the icons on the side so you can have a little preview of what's to come. But basically, welcome. We're going to talk today about MakerCore 2017. Unfortunately, Stephanie, our director of programs, couldn't be here for the rebroadcast, but she sends all her good wishes and is also available to chat if you do want to connect with her individually. So I'm going to start with a brief overview of our organization in general. The Maker Education Initiative, or MakerEd as we're known, is a national nonprofit. And what we really try to do is provide educators and their institutions with training resources and a community of support. And we do that through a lot of different initiatives, a lot of different programs. But we found that when we connect educators with each other, really give them the baseline training that they need to move from wherever they are to the next step of where they want to go. And then the resources, both static and very dynamic, for them to draw upon to really change their or shift their spaces of learning to be more engaging and inclusive and really learner driven, really letting the youth kind of take the lead on what it is they're learning. So MakerCore is one of our mini programs that we run. It's the one that's currently in the recruitment season. So we've been accepting applications for new partner sites for the past couple months, and the application is going to close in the next week or so. MakerCore is an online professional development program. So we work with sites all over the US. Each year we work with between 40 and 50 youth-serving organizations. And that really runs the gambit. We work with small community libraries, large library systems, science centers, museums, children's museums, county offices of education, individual schools that are offering summer programming, community organizations, summer camps. We really work with a lot of different folks who are serving young people in the summer and who are wanting to kind of take what they're doing and either build upon a history of Maker education programming or kind of dabble in it new. And so MakerCore is a program that runs through the spring and the summer that really helps equip organizations to be able to design and run the strongest summer programming for Maker education opportunities for young people that they can. Something that we're really proud about is that in line with our philosophy towards making, MakerCore is not a cookie cutter program. Our organizations all approach it in very different ways depending on their wants and their needs, which means that it looks different in a lot of different places. And we try to really form relationships with the supervisors at each of the organizations to help understand at the beginning where it is they are in terms of their summer programming and what making looks like in that context and where they're hoping to take their program and are able to do a program. I mean, MakerCore really is a large community of educators, but it can be customizable for what each site is looking for. So MakerCore begins with some spring trainings that are set up for the partner site supervisors. This is a way for all of the different folks at the sites across the US to get to know each other, which is really good, and really form that community and realize that you're not alone in being so dedicated to this kind of education. And then it's also a time for us at Maker Ed to really share our expertise and coach you through what it might look like to train summer Maker Corps members, which is the model we use, to then go out and deliver this summer programming. So we work a lot on kind of a train the trainer model. We take you through a lot of trainings that you can then replicate or adjust to onboard the people in your organization that will be doing this kind of on the ground work with youth. And also depending, I mean, we have a lot of organizations that have run the programs that they're doing in the summer before, and they're really just kind of looking to get a new kind of fresh air in with their Maker Corps members and using the Maker Ed as an organization and Maker Corps as a program more in particular to help with that training and help with program ideas and things like that. Whereas we have other organizations who are starting a little bit kind of more from a place of in the spring, really trying to think of what, if I'm going to run a summer camp, what is that even going to look like? Or if I know that I have a space where youth drop in, what can my different programming look like? And so with our sites that are in that kind of more of a planning phase, we use these spring trainings also as a way to really help them work through what makes the most sense for the audiences that they're serving, for their community, and for their organization where it is at that time, and help them work through that planning phase. In the summer, so beginning around June, we switch over to what we call our summer sessions. And our summer sessions are weekly topical online hangouts that are recorded and posted so that folks, depending on their schedule, can either watch them live or can watch them on their own time. And these are really geared more towards the Maker Corps members at each of our partner sites. Although we have supervisors who watch them and really get a lot from them as well. And our summer sessions have different topics each week that are based in what we've kind of seen as points of interest in our community, and also points of kind of struggle or learning. So in the past, we've talked about, one of our summer sessions was on multi-generational making, or kind of what to do when you might have a parent or a guardian in this space where your programming may be more focused towards the young person. And oftentimes we see that parents and guardians really like to help coach their youth through different making experiences, and sometimes can border on trying to take over the project to really make it as perfect as possible. And so we talked through a lot of different ways to engage the adults to kind of appreciate that spirit of wanting to make as well, but to be able to engage the adults in a way that allow space for the youth to really take ownership over what the project's going to look like. Some of our other summer sessions have been project ideas for electronics or for textiles. We talk about facilitation tips and tricks, because we find that a lot of our Maker Corps members have a lot of very specialized areas of skill, but some of them haven't worked with youth as much in the past, really just depending on the site and what that site is looking for. And so we try to support them in developing those skills, and wherever they might feel there's a gap, if they would like some more facilitation ideas or classroom management, or what to do when there's 20 screaming kids, we try to provide that as well. And then at the same time that all of these summer sessions are happening, we have a very robust online community that's actually one of my favorite pieces and components of this program. We have a dedicated platform on our site that's exclusively for Maker Corps, and we post different articles and prompts to kind of get folks who want to dive a little bit deeper into all of this, give them the space for that. But it also turns into an active forum for our Maker Corps members and our supervisors to share either really amazing successes. There's lots of pictures, and sometimes what are those called? They set up a video camera in the back of the room and do a time lapse for one of the days at camp, which are so much fun to watch. So there's a lot of really proud sharing of successes. And then there's also a lot of co-sharing of ideas or tips to address a common problem that's been coming up in people's programming. And so we at MakerEd moderate that and give a lot of feedback to everything that people are posting. We also have a lot of prompts and articles that we share, but it turns into this really wonderful space where, again, we can kind of chip away at some of the isolation that can come with really being the champion for this kind of programming at organizations. We find that a lot of organizations or a lot of our partners are still trying to convince people at their organization that this kind of work is worthy of support and of priority, and having a place where everyone is really in those same, how do we find the money for it? And how do we, get buy-in from the community? Everyone is in that same, I really believe in this and I want to share it. Having that space to have those conversations and has been really useful for folks in the past. So I want to give you a brief timeline of what all this looks like. Right now we are in our application process, of course. The application will close next Monday, January 16th. If you go onto our website on the application portion of this site, there's a document that's an application overview, and it goes through each of the sections of the application and gives you a preview of the questions. We do use Google Forms as our platform, and one of the kind of bummers about that is that it's hard to really click through the whole application to see what it is you're beginning. And so we created this document to help you prepare to then sit down and do the application. So January 16th, that will close. By the end of the second week of February, we'll announce our partner sites. We do have a small number of grants that we give out, and the grant application is part of the regular application. It's the last section. We give small grants up to $7,000. We have a very limited number of them, and those will be announced, those grantees will be announced at that same date in February. Once those applications, or once those partner sites are announced and we have our cohort, our online spring trainings begin in March. We are going to have one, I actually think it's going to be the last week in February, which it goes into the first week in March, one in April and one in May, because most of our sites really start up their programming in June. And so while those trainings are going on, a lot of our sites are already engaged in recruiting for their MakerCore members. Our MakerCore members kind of vary site by site. We host an online application on our site that we put out to all of our national and regional networks for MakerCore members, and with a list of all of the different partner sites that they can apply to be a MakerCore member at. You're welcome to use this. We'll help you kind of sift through things and give any guidance that you might need. But we do find that a lot of our organizations, our partner organizations, like to have their own process where they do require a cover letter and a resume and kind of more along the traditional line of recruiting for a staff position. But you can also do any sort of combination of that. Ultimately, the responsibility of hiring these MakerCore members is on the site, because we find, since there are these temporary, sometimes depending on the site, there are sometimes part-time positions. It makes most sense for that recruiting to be happening very locally, because there's not a lot of room for folks to relocate for that kind of a position. And so we support with putting word out to our national network and giving you any support as your applications are coming in as you may need. But ultimately, it is the responsibility of the partner site to find and hire that summer MakerCore member. Some of our sites have one MakerCore member, some have 5. We have one site who I think had 7 or 8 last year. It really is a decision that the organization makes that, again, we're happy to talk through you about what makes sense for your particular context. But things that we ask our folks to consider are both what you need your MakerCore members to fill, what role is that, how many summer camps, kind of what is the work that they'll be doing. But then equally as important is really reflecting on the capacity that you have as an organization and as a supervisor to really meaningfully support and supervise those members. So it's a lot of our sites end on 2 MakerCore members because they like that kind of partnership piece. But it's really an individual decision each of our sites make. And so then through June through the end of August, is when all of our summer sessions will happen, and that online community will be open to the Maker Corps members. But of course, the partner site supervisors will begin in the online community as early as March. So that is the brief overview of the program. Let me pull up, since we're doing this a little bit off schedule, I really do apologize for that audio sound. The audio issue yesterday. But so since we are doing this kind of off schedule and we don't have the live comments happening, what I'm going to do is pull up some of the things that I most often get asked. And let me get my, hi, I'm back. And just kind of talk through them with you and reiterate that I am here and really, really happy to chat with any and all of you who might want to do a one-on-one conversation really about the specifics of your context. Please just shoot me an email and we'll get something on the schedule. That's something I really make an effort to keep my schedule open for. So one thing we often get asked is kind of the logistics behind the Maker Corps member role. We ask that all of the Maker Corps members are paid either in a normal hourly salary or with a stipend. We don't want any non-paid volunteers filling this role. And we tend to have folks hire Maker Corps members for between 20 and 40 hours a week and between 8 and 12 weeks, just really depending on what your programming looks like and what your needs are. We ask that Maker Corps members spend about 50% of their time, or at least 50% of their time, engaging directly with the youth and families that come through your site. But we also like to have a little bit of time built in to their weekly schedule to really be behind the scenes planning what can programming look like either now or in the future. And I also want to mention we have a lot of sites, well, we have several sites who, rather than hiring new summer Maker Corps members, what they choose to do is rededicate an existing staff member for that summer time. And so it's someone who's already on staff, but they then kind of switch to being solely, their focus for at least 20 to 40 of their hours a week is on Maker Corps. And we're happy when that makes the most sense for an organization. That is, we're happy to work with that. We just ask that they participate in the ways that any other Maker Corps member would. Let's see, what else do folks ask a lot about? Let me see. Trying to guess your questions because they're not coming in because this isn't actually live and scheduled. Basically our Maker Corps, I think what makes me so excited about this program is that it really, our goal and what we really strive to do is to meet all of our partner organizations where they're at and help them get to where they want to go. And so because of that, the answers to different questions look very different for different sites. Some sites, like I said, have 5 Maker Corps members, and it's really more of a youth internship program. We have a site that uses high school interns, and so the Maker Corps program becomes a piece of their programming as well. We have some sites who use college students because their schedules tend to be amenable to the summer type work. We also have sites who have a very specific need that they're filling with the Maker Corps role. So we've had sites in the past who are introducing something like 3D printing or another new tool into their programming. And so they're recruiting someone who's very specifically filling that need, who has a lot of experience with 3D printing or with a laser cutter or with, you know, whatever piece of technology is being incorporated into the programming. And in the past, when one of our sites who hired someone for that Maker Corps member needed a little bit more support in the education piece of things and in managing a classroom or working with youth. And so we were able to kind of help fill that role a little bit and got the feedback from our site that was necessary. Some of our other sites, we want to really stress that for us, making isn't tied to any level of technology. We have a couple really wonderful sites in the past that work with creative reuse. And so they were looking for artists and for folks who really had a passion about creative reuse. So it really varies. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I will post this and we'll kind of tweet it out to our networks. Feel free to share this with anyone in your organization who wants to know more about the program as well. I know that a lot of times committing to a program, you need the buy-in of a lot of different folks who you work with. So please also feel free to share my contact information with anyone who might want to know more before they sign off on the application to this. I'm happy to talk with anyone and everyone. But yeah, thank you so much for being patient with us. One thing that we learned from doing so much online courses and programs is that there's always something that happens with technology. Yesterday was the first time we had the something be audio, but now we have. So yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. Application is open through January. Through January 16th. And yeah, I hope to read some of your applications. Thanks so much. Bye.